No bail for British smuggler. This is Undiluted News. Mikey Bones reporting. A British man who was caught attempting to smuggle more than 14 pounds of cocaine out of Jamaica was remanded on Friday when he appeared in the St. James Parish Court. David Anthony Thomas, 58 years old, a construction worker of Birmingham in England, pleaded not guilty to drug trafficking charges, and he's scheduled to return on May 31st to answer the charges of possession of cocaine, dealing in, attempting to export, and conspiracy to export cocaine. The Narcotics Police reported that on May 3rd, the British man was arrested while preparing to board a flight to Manchester in England. The cops said that 7 kilograms of cocaine was found in his luggage. Meanwhile, the two suspects held in connection with last month's gun attack on a loaded public passenger bus along Spanish Town Road in St. Andrew have been positively identified following a series of identification parade. Investigators are now making arrangements to lay charges against them. A woman was killed and 6 others, including 3 children, were wounded in the incident. The woman's child was also among those who were injured. 6 years after Sarita Housen Blair doused her spouse with gas and set him on fire, causing his death, she has now been given a life sentence. Blair will also have to serve 18 years before she is eligible for parole. The punishment is in line with a plea agreement with her attorney stuck with prosecutors. Blair pleaded guilty on February 9 to the murder of her common-law partner Kenton Brown. The court was told that on May 23rd of 2017, the couple was at home when a dispute developed between them after Blair reportedly accused Mr. Brown of being unfaithful. When he fell asleep, Blair doused him with a flammable substance and set him on fire. Meanwhile, the mutilated body of a man was found in Cana District in St. James on Thursday night. The deceased is 25-year-old Tevon Stoddart of a Smithfield address in Savlamar in Westmoreland, and it's reported at about 9 p.m. residents in the Cana community stumbled upon Stoddart's body, which was lying at the side of a house with multiple chopper wounds. They then summoned the police. On arrival of the lawmen, it was discovered that the victim's throat was slashed and his left hand was severed. The scene was processed and the body removed to the morgue. Stoddart is the 3rd person to be killed in the Canaan community since the start of the week, and his body was discovered in the same vicinity where 2 men from the community, 24-year-old Romaine Melville and 30-year-old Andre Brown, were shot and killed last Wednesday morning. There was 3 double murders in St. James last week, with a total of at least 7 persons murdered. Vendors and shoppers at the Linstead Market in St. Catherine were sent scampering for cover on Saturday night after a gunman opened fire on a female higgler. At the end of the shooting, 55-year-old Marcia Smith was found dead. Smith is a resident of Treadways District in the parish, and she operates a stall in the market. And it's reported that about 7:30 p.m., Smith was at her stall when she was approached by a man from behind. Police said the man pulled a gun, fired 1 shot at her, hitting the vendor in the back of the head, killing her on the spot. The man then fled during the ensuing melee. Smith, police said, was taken to hospital where she was pronounced dead. No motive has been established for that attack, the police said. Meanwhile, a 39-year-old vendor of Dean's Pen in St. Mary was shot dead on Saturday in the Highgate Market, while another man was wounded. It is said that around 3:20 p.m. during the busy market hours, Sheldon Watson, otherwise called Nan, was in the market gambling when a lone gunman approached him and opened fire at him. The shooting resulted in chaos as vendors and shoppers sought for cover. The gunman reported escape on foot. And this is the 3rd market-type shooting that happened in less than 3 days, when gunmen opened fire on a man in a crowded market in St. Anne as well. 2 people have been hospitalized following a gun attack at a bar in New Green in Manchester on Saturday night. A police reported that shortly before 9 p.m., 2 persons, a man and a woman, were among patrons at a bar in New Green Square when a gunman pounced and opened gunfire, hitting them. And it's reported that the victims sustained gunshot wounds to their upper bodies. The police were alerted and the injured persons taken to hospital, where they have been admitted in serious but stable condition. And earlier this year on March 3rd, a cook shop operator, Catherine Matthews, was shot and killed and her husband injured when gunmen opened fire on a couple in New Green. 2 men were shot dead along Adelphi Street in Kingston on Saturday night. The bodies of the men, who are still unidentified, were found in a gully along the roadway, and it was reported at about 10:20 p.m. residents reported hearing explosions sounding like gunshots and the police were summoned. On their arrival, a 2014 white Nissan motorcar was seen parked along Mitchell Street with 2 9mm spent casing and what appeared to be blood on the road close to the vehicle. Police followed a blood trail running from the car into the Adelphi Street, where the bodies of the men were seen lying in a nearby gully. The scene was processed by the police on Sunday morning, and the bodies taken to hospital, where they were confirmed dead. And that made 4 killings on Saturday night. On to sports. Senior men's head coach Jaime Hallgrimsson is urging his players to use their upcoming friendly match against Qatar and Jordan as opportunities to cement their spot on the team for the upcoming CONCACAF Gold Cup tournament. The Reggae Boys will face Qatar on June 15 and Jordan on June 19 in Austria. According to Hallgrimsson, both matches form a very important part of the Reggae Boys' preparation for the biennial tournament. Crucially, the upcoming assignments will be used to select the squad for the Gold Cup. The 2023 CONCACAF Gold Cup is scheduled for June 24 to July 16 in the United States and Canada. On to NBA, the Boston Celtics knock off the Philadelphia 76ers 112 to 88 last night and will now buck up into the Miami Heat in the Eastern Finals. The Heat had on Friday sent the New York Knicks crashing out of the playoff 96-92 in a very fierce battle led by Jimmy Butler with 24 points. But it was last evening's game that was noisy with no one able to stop Jason Tatum, who scored 51 points. 2 years ago with the Boston and the Miami Heat, the Boston beat the injured Heat in the Eastern Finals and eventually went on and won the title. But it might be a little different this time as at least 3 of the Heat top players are available and fit. During their last championship clash, the Heat only had bench players as all the stars were injured. So this championship will be a little bit different. On to Premier League. The Jamaica Premier League will start their playoff this afternoon, where we'll see Dunbeholden clash with Mount Pleasant in their first leg, while Humble Lions and Harbourview will play at 8:30. And this is a home and away 2-leg game. The winner from this tournament will move on into the semi-final. That's going to be news and sports on your favorite community radio. My name is Mikey Bounce. Have a wonderful day, everybody. I gone.